Hello, Lawyer Nation. So today we are going to talk about how much does Lawyer SEO cost and what would be some of the ins and outs and choices. So before we get into that, please take a minute and hit the button below to subscribe to my channel. I am constantly putting out videos and updates and stuff to try to help you guys and gals out there build a lot of value and just kind of give you the inside scoop on a lot of stuff. So if you don't want to get left out and miss the good videos, again, please take a minute, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, and feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if these are helping you, whatever the case may be. So, all right. So today, lawyer SEO, attorney SEO, and law firm marketing. Let's talk about how much should and does lawyer SEO cost. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good question, isn't it? So I just shot a previous video, so if you get a minute, how long does SEO take? Please watch it. I'll go ahead and add it to the end of this video so you can watch it. But in there I talk about a little bit about how much does SEO cost and how long should it take and stuff like that. So here's the thing. There's really, in the SEO arena, there's really a couple of different ways to set up your agency or charge clients, right? So number one is called the retainer model. And I think this is probably the most common and, quite honestly, the most safest for us, the SEO guys, right? So, and you guys are probably already used to it in the lawyer world anyways, because you guys work on retainers and bill out hourly, right? So very similar model. So what a lot of SEO agencies will do is they'll tell you, okay, it's going to be $3,000 a month. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and do the SEO for you. So for $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year, here are the deliverables. Here, what are we going to do? Here's our strategy. And then they're just going to go to work, right? So within that retainer model, you have a couple of other different types of agencies. So you're going to have the guy who's going to bill everything out hourly. So they're keeping track of every single thing. They tell you up front, hey, I bill out at 150, 200 an hour, right? Whatever that number may be. And then they're having everybody on their team use, a software such as Time Doctor, Clockify, something like that. And managing how much time they're putting into your SEO campaign. And you get so many hours a month. Then at the end of the month, they'll tell you, hey, here's the hours we spent and here's what we did for you. And that's about it for the transparency, right? And then I think the majority of the guys that are on the retainer model just put out a set of deliverables and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do for you every single month. Here's our strategy. Here's our plan. Here's the goal line I want to set for this quarter, this year, whatever that looks like for that individual company. And then you pay them every single month and they'll do that, right? And at the end of every single month, at very least, you should be getting a report. If you don't hear from your SEO company on at least a monthly basis, you got a problem, right? So I'm just telling you from a guy on the inside. Nobody should go without that kind of communication. So maybe I'll shoot a whole nother video on communication preferences, but at least if I was a customer, that's not a good customer experience and stuff like that. So, get back to the video here. I'm going to go off on a tangent about it, but bottom line, at the end of the day, them are really the two parts of the retainer model, right? So they're going to bill you hourly, send you an hourly report at the end of the month along what each, spent an hour on backlinks, spent an hour on citations, spent an hour on this, right? Or they're just going to send you one big report at the end of the month and say, hey, here's what I accomplished. Here's what we're going to work on for the upcoming month, and then go from there. So, and for that, $3,000 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is they're charging, that's what you're going to get, right? The second model, which isn't quite as popular, but there's quite a few guys out there. Matter of fact, I have a couple clients on this model, is the per lead model. Okay. And this is probably the most riskiest for the SEO guys, right? So it's not a matter of whether we can do it, because if you got the right SEO agency, you're going to see reviews. They've already put somebody on page one. So it's not if they can do it. They know they're going to do it. They just don't know quite when yet, right? But the second model is pay per lead. So they're going to go ahead and put a call tracking phone number on your Google My Business accounts, on your website, on all your social media presence, so that whenever somebody calls in, and they'll create landing pages for any ads, stuff like that, they can track where that lead is coming from, and that they charge you per lead. So in other words, pay to play, right? So if they don't bring you any leads, then you don't owe them a penny, right? So, well, dang, Mike, that sounds pretty dang good. Why wouldn't everybody do that? Well, a couple things. Most SEO companies, it costs a lot of money to do SEO, believe it or not. The softwares, the content, the team, everything doesn't stop billing us because you want to do a pay-per-lead model, right? So there is a lot of money invested by that agency. So a lot of guys prefer not to do that because it's too risky. And the reason why it's risky is this very reason. I have not had this happen to me, but I have to a couple of friends of mine that own SEO agencies as well. Is they do the pay per lead, and then once them leads kick off, in other words, around that 6 to 12 month mark where they're coming in steady. And keep in mind, on the pay per lead model, you're going to pay more for that lead, right? Than the 1,000 or 3,000 a month if you add it up. So it's going to add up much faster, right? So what you'll find is you guys are pretty dang smart, right? You're like, okay, well, wait a minute. All of a sudden I'm paying this guy 10, 20, 30 grand a month because these leads are coming in. Let's talk about that 3 grand a month again. Okay, well, in actual reality, if you would have been on the 3 grand a month model, you'd probably be already up to 10 grand now if you're getting that many leads, right? Because we kind of bump as we go based on production and the amount of work that's involved. So it's not like, oh, you're making more money, I'm making more money. It's the leads are producing, so now it takes more work to keep up with everything and stuff like that. So with the pay-per lead, it happens a lot. So all of a sudden now you'll start getting 20 and 30 grand SEO bills. And now all of a sudden that pay per lead, which was your lowest cost or your lowest barrier to entry to get SEO and good SEO, quality SEO, now it becomes very, very expensive, right? And that agitates a bunch of people. So what happens is all of a sudden a relationship goes sour. It's not a good relationship anymore because one of the two parties isn't happy, and most SEOs will get burnt at that point in time, right? Or it goes into legal, and then you guys are battling out in court over something that was disclosed up front, but you're just trying to get out of it. So that's pretty much the ins and outs. So the benefit for you guys would be is it's a low barrier, to get into SEO and stuff like that, and the cost per lead and stuff like that. But it's a lot of risk for most SEO agencies. So the two people that I'm doing it for, I've known for 20 years. So there's just no risk to me. I know them very, very well, and for a very long time. So most of my clients come across as the retainer model, but there are agencies out there that will do the pay per lead. You just got to keep in mind big picture, what is best for you and your business, not right now, but big picture, right? And I think that's the hardest part when you're coming out of law school, or you're finally won that first couple settlements and you're starting to get ready to truck down that track. If you look down the road 5 years, 10 years from now, is this deal still a good deal for you? On the pay-per-lead program, it is not, right? Because that bill substantially goes up, right? And the argument is, okay, well, if the bill substantially goes up, then they can do more SEO for you, which is true, right? But not all guys do that as well, right? So another catch in that deal. But Them are the two models. And then the third and last one is kind of like a hybrid, so which is probably very similar to me. I don't have set pricing. Okay. I know what all my services cost. I know what it costs me. I know where I bill out approximately per hour, where I still can make a profit, afford to do marketing, afford to pay people a decent wage and make money. And, I didn't get into business to work for minimum wage, right? So, or 40 grand a year, which I'm sure you guys didn't either. So, hybrid model. So a little bit of both. So maybe you start off at a lower scale, but then as you grow, it's agreed upon that, once you hit certain goal lines, then the price goes up. Or you can even do the pay per lead, but, after month 5 of that, then we're going to go to a minimum of whatever, right? So, but in order for the minimum to happen, you have to be getting this many leads. So there's all sorts of different ways to do this SEO. And again, question of the day: how much should SEO cost? If you're looking for a really, really good agency, the $500 and $1,000 a month guys, they're not going to be your answer. Okay, the content alone costs more than that if you do it correctly. Okay. The time it takes to source and find relevant and useful backlinks, just the time to research that is more than that. Citations. You got everything in this business is data, analytics, researching. It's just a slow, grudging process to find everything that would actually improve your site, not just a little bit, but a lot. In other words, it doesn't take, and I'll get into this when I shoot my backlink video, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And same with everything to do in SEO. It's not about the quantity of it, it's about the quality of it. So if you spend that extra money on the content, if you spend that extra money on sourcing the backlinks, your Facebook ads, your pay-per-click, everything that's involved in social media marketing, pay-per-click, SEO, all that, right? Just takes time, and time is money. If anybody can appreciate that, I know everybody in the Lawyer Nation can. So I hope that helped you out, but to truly, I guess I got rambling there for a second, but to truly answer the question, 500 or 1,000 isn't going to do it unless maybe they're helping you out with your GMB or something, just that, and not do anything else, because again, that's time to do your GMB optimization, which will be a video coming out tomorrow, by the way. You probably need to be a minimum of 2,500 to $3,000 a month to truly make good progress, right? Like if you want to take this thing home, you probably want to go there. But, if you just got out of law school, you need to crawl before you walk, before you run, right? So, and in the SEO world, that's the dollar amount as well, right? So you can crawl, with that $500 or $1,000 a month, and at least you're getting started. But if anybody's promising you any big results in charging you that amount, you should run, because either that or the content's going to be garbage. The backlinks they're getting are going to be garbage. I don't know. Most of you guys are probably billing out at 200, 250. So that's 2 hours of work for 500 a month. So an entire 30-day period, you're going to get 2 hours of work. So think about it, I guess, try to relate it back to you guys. 2 hours of work in a 30-day period for SEO. Even 4 hours, is that really going to do what you need it to do? No, probably not, right? So, yeah, so a good SEO agency, you're probably, looking at that 2,500 to $3,000 all the way up to double digits. And, how many locations do you have? What is it you're looking for? Do you want to run or do you want to crawl? Do you want to walk? Some months you're going to have to walk, even though you want to run, because you're doing too much SEO too fast, right? And it's going to put you on Google's radar. So, all sorts of different factors in here and stuff like that. But I hope today helped you. And again, if you have any questions about this, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well down below. It really does help me, and I do appreciate it. And as always, thank you from Warren Michaels Digital Marketing Company. And if you have any questions, want to have a quick conversation or a SEO audit on your SEO campaign or your website, give us a shout at 832-694-1145. That's 832-694-1145. And again, thank you for watching. Bye.